it's not even Saturday, it's Sunday today. Welcome, welcome. I am working on a special project today. And hold on a second, I'm trying to sprinkle this out a little bit. Now, if I would do it right, it could help. Just a second. All right, there we go. So let me get this back up. And I have a special order I'm working on, so I will be marbling that today. It won't be a super long marbling session. Thank you for being on here, Joni. Okay. So let me clear the surface. I have some satin pillow covers on my Etsy shop, or in my Etsy shop, and a customer wanted 2 of them in this same colorway. And oh, I need that pillow cover. And so I decided just to make 2 of them, so they match a little bit better than just the one, and trying to match it up with that. So I'm gonna need to run in. I forgot to bring that pillow cover out here because I want to follow the pattern. So this is what we're doing today. We're gonna make 2 of these. Can you see it? It's like so floppy, it's hard for me to show. There we go. So we're making 2 pillow covers like this, and I wanted to be able to have the pattern right here handy, so I know what direction I laid the colors and what order I laid the colors. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday. I was gonna just do this and not go live, and then I thought, what the heck? Why not go live again? Let me get a tool. Okay, so now I'm gonna lay down my white like normal. I've already have my satin out here. Starting to get a little breezy. We've had beautiful weather here today in southern Idaho. So I'm just laying down my base coat. If I have some newbies here, you can hashtag newbie and welcome, welcome. I want to be sure to say hello to everyone. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them. I'll answer them as best I can after I'm off my live. I have to tell you, if you watched my live on Friday night, I washed those tumblers off. The one I dropped back in there, I really liked it before I dropped it. And so I did, whoops, totally missed the tank. Wash those off, so I'll have to do them again. All right, there we go. I even made some new paints today. I have a fresh new bottle of white. It's not all dripped on and messy. This is your average. This is a different brand, but this is what my paint bottles start looking like after I've been to several shows. They just get to be a mess, and that's okay. But I have a nice fresh one, so it makes it feel so nice. So first I want the purple. Satin is so fun to marble because it keeps the shine. purple. I can't get the lid back on. Then I need the pink. And I need the red. Lighter teal. Ooh, that one just pouring out. And then the darker teal. Okay, so that's the same colorway that I used before. So now I will just can't even tell that I had white in there. Do my regular back and forth. Figure out which way I did everything so it looks similar. If I have any newbies watching, my name is Linda and I own Aqueous Silk, and this is water marbling. This is the ancient way to do it. They used to do paper. I still do paper in this same fashion. Look at that. Look how much different that looked than that one. That's why I'm making a whole new set. It'll be the same colors. Okay, dear. Are your hands clean?
Of course.
Oh, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it. All right. There we go. First one is down. I have to do this 4 times because I'm making 2 pillow covers. And since they're I guess I could have done them in my long tray. I was thinking I couldn't do these in my long tray. I was thinking I had to do them in the smaller one. But, so there's the satin. Okay, there's one. Let me get it rinsed. Can you hold this for me? And my husband thought he was getting away without helping, but I'm going to have him hold the baggie while I put the satin in there. I just dunked it in the water. And this is regular bridal satin. Yeah, you can just set it over there. I'll grab it. I was thinking my pieces of satin were wider than my long tank. And I would have been able to get much more consistency had I used my long tank, because then I could put all 4 of them in at one time. It just dawned on me as I laid that down that it would have fit. So again, we're just putting the paper down. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday. I've been kind of busy today. I mixed some paint. I finished sewing the dog bandanas that I marbled on Friday. I did some chalk couture on, that's the term I could not think of last week on Friday, on a tumbler that I had, the one I marbled a couple weeks ago that I did not drop into the rinse bucket. I marbled that one, or I did some chalk couture on that one, and it worked, so that was fun. It's drying right now. And gloriously, I got to sleep in today. I just love sleeping in. It's one of my favorite things. I got to actually do it today. Okay. Just pulling all of that paint out. And now we get to start again. And I just noticed I forgot to plug in my phone, so hold on a second, it's gonna jiggle. It's plugged into the outlet, but not into the phone. Sorry, I have to move the angle. Hope that's okay still. Let me take a look here. That's a little crooked, but it works well. So let me pop the bubbles. And let's do number 2. Again, back with the white. Whoops. It's so fun to have a nice, fresh bottle of paint. I have several of them over here now. And my husband recently told me that I can use electrical tape and write on it. Because some of the paints, when I mix them, I'm not sure, they're so similar in colors that I'm not sure which one is which with an unlabeled bottle. So I don't know which one to mix when I run out. And so I was able to mix some and label it. It was so nice. We have a beautiful day here. I did have to close the garage door because of the wind. It would have had everything, all my fabric blowing around. And so we start with purple. So I'm only going with one row of purple this time because it was so strong. Then pink. And red. This is why it would have been better to do it all in one tank. Like I said, they would have been a little bit more consistent. Oops. Chasing tops to the paint. And now the light teal. And if I remember, this one comes out really quickly. And the darker one. Yeah, we're supposed to get very high winds tonight. And I'm not looking forward to that. I never rest well when it's windy. You know what? Let's try something. I like the way that turned out. Okay, so now the next piece. Just making sure it's thoroughly saturated with the paint. And into the rinse bucket. And my new ones that I mixed are behaving well, so that makes me happy. Sometimes you mix, I have a light pink in the other brand of paint that needs some attention. It's not dropping very nicely or spreading, and this seems to be doing a great job. So that makes me happy. Okay, into the baggie. Dry my hands so I can touch the newsprint. Okay. I got to watch, we are big sports fans in this household, and so we watched our team, which is Gonzaga, win their game today. My husband grew up just a few hours from Spokane. I used to live in Spokane when I was just young, like in my early, well, teens, late teens, early 20s. That was my first place where I worked and lived after I was out of high school. So we are huge Gonzaga fans. We got to watch them win, and that was fun. I enjoyed it. I had my earbuds in. I was trying to listen to a podcast and watch the game. And so I finally gave up and just came downstairs from the studio and watched the game. I can't get my newsprint apart. I cannot see the comments on my phone. I have my iPad over here and I keep forgetting to check it, so. There we go. Let me check the iPad, see if there's any questions. Hello, Holly. Hello, June. Happy Sunday. I hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, so let's start again. Make number 3. We're making pillow covers. I do have some satin cut to do one, excuse me, one other project. I was at Walmart yesterday and saw something. Excuse me, let me get a drink. I was grocery shopping and I wanted to get a new gray sweatshirt, but I wanted a hoodie because I like the front pocket. and they didn't have any. So as I was walking through that general area, I saw something and I was just like, hey, I bet I could make that, which is I'm quite famous for doing. And so now I've got some stuff cut to give it a try. It's actually something that's been on my mind, but I just never remember to cut the fabric in time. And I got all the quilt fabric pressed. It's dried and I got it pressed. So I need to take one of the little pieces to the quilt store with me and get all the other coordinating fabrics. So that's going to be fun to work on. Now look at this. I realized after the last one that I wasn't using the correct white for this paint, and so I switched it out, and look how everything is not spreading as quickly as it was. So let me come back in and do one more line of that purple. I was so excited about my new fresh white bottle that I forgot to realize that that doesn't go with the paints that I'm using. It's like my fingers don't want to work today. I've been hobbling around all day. Yesterday I was pulling the curtains closed and somehow I stepped off the rug and onto the hardwood floor and slipped, and now my knee's been bothering me all day today. I'm just so coordinated. Now the light teal. Teal is a very pushy color, so I know you hear me say that all the time if you watch. All right, let me wipe the tool off a little bit here. Next weekend, I think I will work on my new tools. Okay. And I am who I am, and I want so badly to come in and swirl on top of this, but I can't, so we'll just get this printed, the next piece. And I always put the shiny side of the satin down, the back side up. There we go. And into the rinse bucket. Let me dry my hands. And see how this is spreading back out and trying to fill the hole, so all of this is getting lighter. Get the baggie. I've got dinner on and I can smell it cooking and it smells yummy. I even made French toast for breakfast this morning. So I feel like I've had a pretty busy day for a Sunday. I'm usually a little quiet on Sundays. But when I had this request for a new cover, hello Kimberly. Thank you. I thought I'd better get it done. Didn't want to keep a customer waiting just because I didn't feel like getting off the sofa when I love to do this anyway, so. All right, let me put that little strip down. Switching out the trash bucket from the rinse bucket because I don't want to end up with newsprint in my rinse bucket. That would not be fun to pick out. All right. Please don't be afraid to leave a question if you are curious about something. I have an Etsy page, a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and a Pinterest board. I'm not super active on Pinterest because I just don't have enough hours in a day, it feels like. I still have a full-time job. That is most recently very stressful. So, okay, here we go. The last piece of the pillow cover. And I just put the white down so there's plenty of paint on the surface because that's what causes the tension and makes nice, vibrant colors. No two pieces of marbled fabric will ever look the same. Even if I had done this in the long tank and had put all 4 pieces in one bath, it would not look, one side, you know, one piece would not look like the other piece. Oh, this is like a perfect red. And then the dark teal. These little bottles that I use are like dominoes. You knock one over and it knocks another over. Just drying this off a little bit. I need to get a larger piece of paper towel. This is Ebru water marbling. This art form originated in approximately the 14th or 15th century. There's some dispute about that. And hey, I just pulled off one of my little, one of the teeth to my comb just came off. Guess that means I am for sure making new tools next week. And it's done on paper. I can do it on paper, on fabric, as you're seeing here, cotton fabric. This is satin. I do it on silk. I do on leather. I actually have a pattern for a leather bag that I want to make. I hand stitched a cover for a composition notebook recently. And that turned out really cool. I was very pleased with that. So I can't wait to try and do more leather. I've done bookmarks and earrings, and I marble on wood. All right. You do get very colorful hands when you marble. So now I have some leftover strips from when I was cutting this fabric, and I'm going to pull this off and then we'll lay down some paint and I'll see how many of those strips I can get in here. I'll try that other project. I need to figure out what colors I want to use. Whoops, I need to get this in the bag. It's sitting in the rinse bucket. Silk and satin just cling to itself when it's wet. So they're hard to unfold when I pull it. Oops, tripping on cords. When I pull a silk scarf out of the tank, it's always hard to try to hold it up and show it because it all wants to fold back into itself. All right. Let's not put the newsprint into the rinse bucket. Still see a little bit of that purple on the surface here. think we'll do a little bit of, I think we'll do pink, purple, and yellow. Got some little bubbles in here. Now, if you see me grab a paper towel and dab the surface, that means I see a little bit of paint that is still there that does not belong in this project, and I can just dab it right off. So this one I can have, I don't have to follow a design. That looks good. Let's go up this edge. Okay. I think we'll start with purple. Just dropping this paint one drop at a time on the surface. Colors will not blend when they're on the surface. Oops, that's the purple. I already used that. Now let's throw in a little bit of yellow. This is always very challenging for me because I'm not a yellow fan. However, I did like the pop of yellow in the fabric I did for the quilt the other day. Keep dragging it on the bottom. I try not to do that. It's such a smoother motion when you don't. Okay, because I have to do this, trying to pull some of the paint off these teeth of this comb real quick here. And this is just acrylic paint that I'm using. It's an artist quality acrylic that has been, I do make it so it will marble. Okay, now that makes me happy. So let's see how many pieces we can get into this. And I see a stinking little bubble there. Let me get him swirled. There we go. I just didn't want these things to go to waste. Yeah, this one's too long. I think I have 2 of them that are going to be too long. Well, maybe a lot of them will be. see how many of these I can get in here. That one's going to be too wide. I think these are too long. So that's all I can get in this batch. So let's see how this looks. So into the rinse bucket. And I just gently rinse it. It just takes off the excess paint and the excess size, the water. The water that it's in is a filtered water that has a little bit of seaweed powder in it, which is what makes it, makes it really thick and gooey or slimy. But that's what helps hold the paint up. I gotta get those out of the rinse bucket. That sit there, and I put them into just a regular old baggie when I pull them out of the water. Let me make sure that's all. Yep. All right, that's all for that one. Okay, so let's use some blues for the next one. Let's see. Hello, hello everyone. If you just joined us, my name is Linda and this is water marbling. This is the traditional way using acrylic paint and floating it on the surface of the water. Okay, need to clean that up. We are doing now, so I did some pillow covers earlier, and now I am doing just some strips of satin. Bridal satin, and it keeps its sheen when it's been marbled, and when I have it all worked up, it's absolutely beautiful. All right, so we're changing up our colors here. I have to stay within the paint brand, so I can't be mixing paint brands. So I'm switching over to this other one. I basically use 3 different brands of paints. I'm sure you can manipulate many others to work for this. You want to select a paint that has a high saturation, color saturation, so you get nice, vibrant. Now this is a different paint here, so do you notice the way it goes down differently on the water? I can tell, but I've been doing this a while and I kind of know what it just moves differently. It's not as completely colored. I guess I don't know. It's more transparent. That's what I'm trying to say. More transparent. Okay. I'll put down some darker blue. And you can put as much paint down as you want or as little, whatever makes you happy. That's what I love about this. There's really, other than getting the paint to float, which is important, and getting the items properly processed to be able to accept the marbling paint, there's no right or wrong here. A lot of natural fibers will take the paint without even being prepped. Every paint color has its own behavior on the water. Some will push really, really hard and the others not so much. So I'm just going to come back again. A little more of the dark blue. Just putting one of those in each of the lighter blues. Okay. Now we will the way I always start. Can you see when I hit the bottom, it kind of jiggles around? I do hats and shoes, scarves, bandanas, dog bandanas. I make those. Journal covers. I make note cards. I bind my own books and do the marbled cloth for the covers. All kinds of stuff. This is one of my favorite designs as well. I guess I just like the more intricate patterns. I think we're going to have to do one more set, so I'll do that one in a free form. I like to, when I'm working with smaller pieces, I like to use more intricate designs. I wish I had some smaller pieces that I could utilize in these corners. Well, there's how that one looks off the surface. Into the rinse bucket. Let me grab a baggie and get these put away, and we'll clean it and we'll do it again. I have 2 more really long pieces, so I need at least 2 more tanks, and then one, but I'll barricade off a piece on the when it's only the one. Well, that'll be hard. And then I have one kind of chubby piece. Let me pull these out. And as you watch that move, I could come in here and swirl this again and print something on there. There would be a lot of open space, but I could still print it, and that's called a ghost print because it's moved out, it's thinned out, the colors are not intense, they're not so vibrant. I was attempting to print on artist canvas, and I failed the first couple times I did it, and I just kept rinsing the canvas off and using it instead of buying a new one until I had it figured out. And so I finally got it so where it printed and stayed, and I was so excited. But you can see the ghost print of the other ones behind it because it didn't come off entirely. So that was kind of fun. And that's also called over marbling. When you marble it once, you prep it again, and then you marble it a second time. Are just battling this newsprint today. Cannot get the pages separated. So I just want this to pick up all of that paint that's left behind. So now we're ready. Let's see, where's my... I see some little bubbles of blue right here against the side. So I want to make sure those come out of there. Okay. Hello, I see Lori and Sue and Angelina, or Angelia, Karen. Welcome, welcome everyone. Okay, I'm getting ready to lay another. Let's see, what colors do we want this time? I cannot use metallics on fabric, unfortunately. So I'm going to use these two colors here and the right way. A lot of times if I try dropping one paint on top of another brand, it does not like it very well. So I try to always pay attention and get the correct white. But as you saw earlier, I sometimes don't pay attention. It still worked, but the paints just, you saw the difference in the behavior of the paint when I used the correct white and when I used this white. I was just so excited about a nice clean bottle. I usually try to get all these drops when I'm laying the base inside the drops, former drops, because that will give you a base that does not have any gaps like right here. You can see where there's no white. But I've actually found that I kind of like the way it looks when you see the raw silk through it, or you see the satin through it, just the base color all by itself. I kind of like that. And that's personal preference, and with this, it's art. You can do exactly the way you like it. And that's what I love about it. It's a very relaxing art form. When you're moving the paint, you can feel a little bit of resistance. And it's just, it takes all your cares away and just helps you relax. It's very, very zen. This is gonna be pretty. I say that with all of them. I think there has literally maybe been one that I didn't care for when it came out of the bath, but most of them, I just love it. Oh, I even know what I'll do for the next colorway. Oh, I hear somebody's out playing on their ATV. Sorry if you can hear that. The hazards of working in your garage. I still just take the time to wipe this off a little bit. Since these are wooden teeth on here, which is why the one broke, I just take that time. And now I'll just come back and move that a little bit. Don't fit the, I think this one's gonna have to go right there. So yeah, we will do one more tray. Oh, that wind is really picking up. Now there was just a subtle difference in color in those two teals, so it's not super obvious that they're different. It is, but it's not. It's very subtle. So, all right. My hand before I grab the newsprint, and I have one more piece of satin to do. Sunday. I will be back on Friday, again sometime between 5 and 7. And I have a couple fun things to marble already. I bought some new white denim since I was out yesterday, so I've got to get that cut and prepped. I've never liked handling newsprint, but when I'm working with this, it doesn't bother me. Whoops, I do like that. It looks pretty good. I think I'll take one more pass here. You might see a little bit of teal under the surface of the water, but that won't hurt our design. When I see a little bit right here on top, sometimes I find the newsprint pushes it all up against the edge and then it slowly disperses back onto the water. So let's do our last one here. See, I need to get a new one. Oh, the wind sounds like it's really starting to pick up. Okay, here we go. I have little mixing balls in the base of this bottle, and every now and then the little one will roll up and get into the tip, and then it will quit dropping paint. Oh yeah, I marble tumblers as well. Hi, Susan. Okay, I see a little bit of teal that's been pushed over here. So I just pulled that out with the paper towel. Now every time I pull out, use the paper towel and pull off the paint or use the newsprint, it pulls out some of the water with it. So it's, I usually end up with quite a bit less, whoo, this is really runny, water when I finish than when I started. All of this is just for one little piece of satin. Oops, I've used that. I almost reused the wrong color. All right, so we have red, yellow, and orange in here. So I was going to do this one freeform, so I want to make sure there's a lot of movement, you know, in this direction, in kitty corner, diagonally, because that's where this piece is going to go. The edges really don't matter because there's not going to be any fabric there taking up the design. So now we'll got that. And there we go. All right, I will get that one rinsed and clean out the tanks, see how much water is left, and I'll save that. And then I will see everyone next Friday. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful week. I hope everything goes beautifully for everyone. And take care. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay creative. Bye.